What's up, Magic fans? Mackenzie Thurkill here for an all-new episode of Orlando Magic Soundoff presented by Socios. And today I am so excited to welcome in three different Magic fans into today's show that will also be part of the show and co-hosts alongside with me. So I would love to welcome in Bailey, Christian, and TJ. Guys, first off, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join me. But let's get right into it. First things first. Big talking point of the week, Franz Wagner winning Eastern Conference Rookie of the Month. Our guy is finally getting the credit he deserves, and it feels great. I'm very excited about it. Bailey, how did you feel once you saw that?
I'm so stoked. He's so good, and I feel like Magic fans have known that, but finally it's like showing up and people are talking about it, and it feels so good.
Yeah, and finally, it's nice when you see the Orlando Magic being recognized for one of their players. 'Cause like you said,
finally.
We've all seen it since the start of the season. Christian.
I think especially I saw the draft party when we drafted Jalen Suggs and Franz Wagner. And for Jalen Suggs, everyone kind of knew who he was. Very popular player, was expected to go in like that top 5 thing. And then when Wagner got drafted, it was kind of more of like, I wouldn't say a surprise, but I don't think he was expected to be picked up by the Magic. So to kind of go from this like somewhat unknown pick to Eastern Conference Rookie of the Month is crazy, especially since all the players out with protocol or just injuries in general. Magic haven't been great with injuries this year. So being able to see kind of one player, especially a rookie, step up and kind of show out and show off, and on a league kind of grand scale be very good is awesome to see.
Yeah, it really is. I know a lot of scouts have come out now to talk more about Franz Wagner than they did at the beginning of the draft. And all of them are like, yeah, he was that kid when we saw him at Michigan who he would just fit in on any team. It's like, well, now he's getting the credit, even though we saw something in him. TJ, what have you loved about his gameplay so far this season?
Yeah, so I was, like Christian was saying, I was at the draft party and going crazy when we drafted Jalen, and whenever we drafted Franz, I wasn't 100% like familiar with his game. I'd heard people at Michigan really liked him a lot, and I liked Mo Wagner last year. I was like, okay, this guy's cool. I was like, oh, we could maybe have brothers together. And this year, he's blown away my expectations. I think Franz is the next face of German basketball. I think. He's super exciting. He does everything. He can't miss basketball. He's great every night. You see players like Embiid and Giannis all praising him, and you don't necessarily hear that from them throwing compliments like that about everybody. It's just really exciting to see. I'm excited to see where he can go with this, because we're only seeing like the tip of the iceberg. I think we're going to see like a whole nother level in the next couple of years.
Yeah, definitely. I know there's been a lot of comparisons drawn between him and Gordon Hayward. And a lot of people are like, oh, maybe he's a young Gordon, which not a bad comparison. And I will gladly have that person play on my team all day, all night. The fact that he put up 38 points against the Milwaukee Bucks the other week, I think standalone says a lot for the fact that, one, we were very depleted, and two, the Bucks were at full strength. Sans Robin Lopez, like Giannis was still going off. Everyone was still very present for the Bucks, and he's just been averaging 19 and a half points in the month of December and leads his rookie class right now in terms of points per game. It's numbers you love to see.
Yeah, and I think there was in that 76ers game and in that Bucks game, he was finishing over players that were like 7 feet tall. It's absolutely insane. Like the way he can get a shot up, and even if it doesn't go in and he gets the foul, like he's able to go into that defense and just kind of lay up a ball, and somehow it still goes in. And he hasn't, I think, shown how good he can be from 3 yet. Like, I think that'll definitely come along as he gets like more time in the league and all that. But his finishing ability, just somebody gives him the ball and says, you have like a 6'11" guy on you, go score. Like, he's been really good at that, and it's really great to see.
Yeah, he thrives cutting to the basket, and we've seen a lot of that. And I think his game all around is going to grow, which we're only not even at the halfway point officially in the season. So we still have a couple more months to see him really grow into that, which you love to see it. You love to see it. And hopefully this is just one of many awards that he will be winning this season, because I'm making the push for Rookie of the Year.
Ooh, definitely. He definitely has a chance. It's him, Scotty Barnes, and the Cleveland rookie. Mobley, yeah. I think like in the good, yeah. Leading up to like the Rookie of the Year ladder, like it was like those three at the top, and I think Franz has stayed at the top for like the past 2 weeks, I think, on like the NBA Rookie of the Year leaderboard or whatever. So I think definitely if he can hold this standard of play, and I think he's averaging like the second most amount of points that a rookie's averaged on the Magic since Shaq, which is insane. So I think definitely if he can, even if he stays exactly the same for the rest of the season and doesn't improve, like which he obviously can, he definitely has a strong case to be Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, he's definitely made his point to like climbing his way up like Magic record books. Like you said, just under Shaq, he has the most points by a rookie. I think he's tied for third. Shaq, it was like Shaq first, Shaq second. And then it might have been D. Scott, or he's like tied with Shaq. But like he's climbing, obviously has had now 20 games in which he scored in double digits. The kid's on the up and up, and you really like to see it. But someone who also is on the up and up, who has been in the league for a little bit, but now we're seeing him come back to himself. Gary Harris, who's been posting the same numbers that we were seeing all the way back in 2018. And I think this is finally the Gary Harris that's showing up, that we're like, yes, this is who we wanted in this trade that happened last year. Bailey, you said yes. Tell me more, girl.
I feel like when he got drafted, there were such high expectations. It was a while ago. It feels like now. And it was like first round and everything. But then injuries, and I feel like his name went away. Like if you Google him, you see like people being like, what happened to him, essentially. And he's so versatile. And now that he's healthy, he's gaining like confidence. He's like making plays happen because he's still like a veteran to the game, and it's just super fun to watch. I feel like he fits in with this team super well too. So I think as time goes on, it's only gonna get better, and I really like him. I feel like I need a jersey soon.
I love it. It's the revival. And I feel like, just on like a really quick side note, I feel like you would have to be a really terrible person to not fit in with this locker room. Because there's just such a good vibe about them that if you can't walk into that locker room and like vibe with them, like I'm gonna say that that's on you and not on them. But back to Gary Harris. TJ, what have been your thoughts on the revival of GH?
Yeah, so whenever we were first bringing Gary, you're always looking for a good locker room fit, and for our team specifically, we have so many young guys. So like our veterans, it means so much. It's players for our young guys to look up to and see like what they've done. And I think Gary Harris, Robin Lopez, Terrence Ross, these guys are like super high quality guys. And specifically like T. Ross and Gary Harris, they both play with like a lot of energy. And you don't necessarily see that with older guys. Sometimes they're a little more like complacent. And these guys, every night, they're playing hard. They're into the game. And I think that's a perfect role model for like RJ, Cole, all these guys to look up to. And he's fun to watch too. Like he's exciting to have. We're seeing like Gary Harris of old, which is I think Denver would probably be a little bit surprised. I don't think they knew that this level was still left in him. And it's exciting for sure.
It is exciting, especially when you look at his numbers over the last 5 or 6 games, averaging about 19 points, over 50% from the field, and around like the 45% mark in terms of from the three on just about 6 attempts. So they're good numbers that you like to build upon. But DJ, you did bring up a really good point about just his veteran leadership on this team, given how young of a team this is and everything that we've been going through the last month with health and safety protocols, people coming in and out of the roster, especially young guys who aren't even necessarily familiar with a lot of like the plays that we're running, given the fact that we aren't able to have practice when everyone's in health and safety protocols. So Gary has stepped up in a huge way outside of showing up on the court, but showing up for this team. Christian, what have been your thoughts on Gary Harris as of late?
Definitely what everyone said about that veteran presence, like especially, I don't even think he's that old. I don't think he's reached 30 yet, which is like in the NBA
he
is
hasn't.
like old. So definitely just being an example, kind of what TJ said about setting the energy and setting the pace for the team, especially when you're playing with a lot of players who don't go to practices often or who spend time in Lakeland or playing for other teams. You need kind of guys where it's like, okay, look, you might not know the entire game plan, but let's go out there, let's run, set a screen, pass, we're going to get buckets eventually. And having players like T. Ross and like Gary Harris is good to see. And like Bailey said, they're both veterans of the game. Like anyone above 26 is a veteran on this team. So just having players that can kind of set that example, especially like even for someone like Mo Bamba, who's been on the team for a couple years, or someone like Franz, who's like, this is their first season, just having these guys to set the tone, set the energy, even if it's like we're down by a lot or we're kind of making that push in that fourth quarter, having guys like Gary Harris that can take a couple shots, make a couple shots, and kind of set the tone for everybody else on the court is like super important.
Yeah, definitely. It's just been good to see the game kind of settle for him and him be able to get back into his own rhythm, because I can't imagine what that must be like as an athlete to go somewhere and be like, man, I haven't hit these numbers in a couple years. Like, do I still have it? Can I still be that guy? Like that's like a whole other like mental battle you're trying to play with yourself, fighting off like what the press is saying, what fans are saying. So for him to come out over this last month and really just be able to step up in such a big way, like kudos to Gary Harris, because it's so great to see it and I love seeing it. But there has been so many positives, I feel like, despite the fact that we've been taking some L's this season. With that aside, there's been a lot of positives to take away with this season between Franz, Gary Harris, Cole Anthony still balling out, even though we just got him back from injury, but he's still putting up great numbers. Of course, we're going to get Markelle back hopefully really soon. J.I. then is coming down the pipe. So what are you guys looking forward to most for the rest of this season now that we are in 2022 and that this season will be just done in 3.5 months, which is crazy. But Christian, I'm going to start with you. What are you most looking forward to?
I really think Franz can win Rookie of the Year. I think if we can end the season with that being like our highlight, I think that's a very good highlight. Natural development just from all the young guys is going to be great to see, especially because like we have been taking a couple L's. I'll be the first to say it. But as long as Magic fans and especially the players are having a good time, I know we said earlier, like the locker room fit for a lot of these guys has been really fun. So even though we're taking losses, like at least the players are having fun. And looking at some of the box scores for the past couple games, like I think we lost to Milwaukee by 10. I don't think we lost to Brooklyn by that much. Like these powerhouse teams, and like even though like yes, a loss is a loss, like we're keeping these games competitive up until like a pretty decent point. So just like seeing these players go out, have a good time, getting experience for the rookies. Hopefully we can see Jalen Suggs come back. I want him to come back before the end of the season. And seeing like some improvement from like Markelle and Cole. Just seeing these guys get back on the court, kind of get their first minutes of the season together and just have a good time as like the next half of the season kind of goes on.
You hit a lot of really great points, Christian. TJ, what would you like to add?
So like Christian was saying, I'm really looking because the wins are not, that's not how I'm going to judge how successful I see our season. There's individual accolades like Rookie of the Year, which I think we all definitely would be an exciting thing for us to rally around. But also I'm looking for the gel between like Markelle, J.I., Jalen coming back, Cole, all these guys. And it's going to be an interesting fit. I'm excited to see how it works. And I know it will. We have a bunch of high quality players, very unselfish players. And it's going to be really exciting. I'm excited for some of the players like Franz. I think they are going to take that next level. The good thing is, since we're not necessarily focused on just getting wins this season, we can take some more risk, and Franz can work on developing his jump shot, and it won't be as much pressure as, oh, don't shoot that so much. Like this year, just let it fly. He's gonna improve. This is the perfect year for all of our players to develop. I just hope that we can stay healthy so we can continue that developmental process. And it's fun to watch, too. You never know what you're going to get each night. And I want some more Cole game winners and post-game interviews.
Yes.
It's always great entertainment. and they're just fun to watch. Like I want to watch every game. It wasn't necessarily like that in past seasons, but this season, like I don't want to miss a game. Like it's fun to watch. I feel like we're right on the verge of seeing like a great team potentially, and I'm just excited. I think coach is awesome, and I'm just excited for it. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Shots aren't always going to fall, just to piggyback off what you were saying, TJ. Shots aren't always going to fall our way, but if there's one thing, Jamal Mosley does not get mad if he feels you took a good shot. And so that's just like you were saying, like, let it fly. And so many times Jamal's like, I'm not mad that they took that three. He had a good look. It just didn't fall our way. But getting those repetitions and more of like the unity between the starting five and having a solid starting five that's playing together game in and game out, it's going to be good coming up. Bailey, what about you?
I think they touched on some really good things. All of us Magic fans are on board with the fact that we're not looking for like a winning season or to be like highly ranked, but we more so just like have these guys that are super young and playing with fire. And I think that's what makes it so fun to watch. And they've done it since game one. They've been like standing up on the bench, rooting for each other and playing until like the last second. And I hope that we'll finish strong, despite like hopefully some people will come in that have been riding the bench the whole time because of injuries. But I hope that we continue to play with that fire until we finish the season, so that we do like have a chance to see the guys start to mesh, have a consistent starting five, and kind of develop like, I don't know, just like plays and stuff with each other. Because I feel like once they have these injuries and they fall out of the lineup, then when they come back, we're like starting over. And I guess just consistency, health, and the continued like drive to win and show up for us.
Yeah, definitely. And there really is something to be said about seeing your own team that you are a fan of be excited to be on the team. Mm-hmm. Because when you're in a season like we're having with a rebuild, it's really easy to kind of like hang your head low and just be like, all right, guys, we're just going to ride this out. Like, we're going to try to get better. We know we're not going to win many games, but like you were just saying, Bailey, like these guys are standing and they are like cheering their guys on up until that final buzzer. And you want to see that energy, because that energy bleeds into the stands. And then that once you like, as a fan, you like want to see that. You're like, yeah, you're going to show up. We're going to show up, like, bet. And one thing that I'm really excited about, I talked to J.I. the other week. We did a post-game interview, and I was asking him what he's excited about. And, of course, he talked about all the young guys, because so many guys on this roster he hasn't even actually had playing minutes with. And he was like, I'm excited to get back and, like, his words, not mine. He's like, I'm excited to get back and just muck it up. Like, we're ready and like we're coming. And I was like, okay, J.I., like bring that energy. Like, I'm here for it. Like, and he's ready. I know Markel and him are like itching to get back. And so like when we're fully healthy, like we're not going to be a team to play with, especially for the fact that we're already like on hard times and we're fighting, just like you were saying, Christian. Like, this team fights night in and night out, and they will give anything to like give their best. And that's all you can ask for in a season like this when you're rebuilding and all you're asking is to get better. So this is the energy we want for 2022.
Exactly. And especially like the Magic have like so many 6'10" guys that are just tall and long, and it's like, hey, like you said earlier, like the shot might not go in, but the other team's shots aren't going in either. So it's like, it's gonna be fun. Like, especially like I'm really excited to see this team on the defensive end when J.I. comes back. Like a lineup that has Franz, J.I. and like Mo Bamba. It's just like, who's scoring on that? It's crazy.
Yeah, we're going to be a very big team coming out, and that's going to be very tough to defend for a lot of teams in this league. But Bailey, Christian, TJ, thank you guys so much again for taking time to join me on this. I had an absolute blast. I hope you guys had fun. Also, everyone I thought brought their A game today. Loved it. And so I appreciate all of you guys so much. And if you're watching and you want to be part of this, make sure you follow our Instagram stories, and you too can be on our next episode of Orlando Magic Soundoff presented by Socios. Thanks, everybody.